So the year is 2005 and Hyundai has just launched the Tucson, its first ever SUV for India. And this is how it looked like. Now it wasn't particularly large, but Hyundai did try to make it look tough and solid with huge plastic cladding all around, roof rails on the top and beefy tires. But unfortunately, the market at the time for premium 5-seater SUV was virtually non-existent. 11 years later, we got the third generation Tucson, and this time around it did much better at launch, but again the market for premium 5-seater SUV at the time was quite limited, and by the end of its life the Tucson really struggled for sales. But all of that is in the past now, and what we have here is an entirely new generation of the Tucson, which is set to be introduced in a market that has seen a lot of changes, especially in the post-pandemic world. In fact, spending habits have evolved, and Hyundai tells us that more and more buyers are now opting for premium 5-seater SUVs, and that I believe is exactly why the Tucson has made a comeback. My name is Sagar, and in this video, I'm going to talk about some of this car's biggest USP and one solid reason for why this new Tucson has a better chance of succeeding now more than ever before. First up, it's how the new Tucson looks and how radically different it is compared to the old model. I mean, there's no resemblance whatsoever, and if I'm honest, I'm not sure how something this flamboyant and radical would age, say in the next 10 years or so. But let's just stick to the present, and in that context, the Tucson looks absolutely smashing and its design is easily one of its biggest USP. So it's got a lot of stuff that isn't common even on premium cars. Things like this dark chrome grille and the daytime running lights that are in your sight until you switch them off. Let me show you. Now that they are off, you can see how well they merge with the rest of this new parametric grille that Hyundai has introduced for the new Tucson. I like how the main headlights are placed within the bumper, but that's not entirely radical because we have seen that in SUVs before. There is nothing conventional about the profile either. For instance, you do not get 1, 2 but 3 prominent creases that run along the front door. And it's the same story as you move on to the back and the side panels. Also, you get angular wheel arches instead of the traditional semicircle layout, and up here you get this thick chrome panel which runs along the entire glass area. Now it's here to cut down the visual mass, and it actually makes the Tucson look lower than it actually is. Here at the back you get this nice thick light bar, kind of like the one that you get in the Venue. But because the Hyundai logo here, it's placed upwards and within the glass, there's nothing interrupting this light strip when it's fully lit, and it looks really cool if you ask me. Now if you're wondering if the new Tucson is missing a rear wiper, it's actually tucked underneath the rear spoiler here to add to the clean look. The new Tucson then is exuberant when it comes to looks, but what about its size and road presence? Well, this new model has grown in size compared to the old Tucson, especially in its length. After all, Hyundai has launched the long wheelbase version this time around, and the Tucson is now longer by 150mm. More crucially, the wheelbase is stretched by 85mm, and when compared to its rivals, it beats all other 5-seater SUVs including the Tiguan, the C5 Aircross and the Compass. You get a nice soothing vibe once you're in here, and I think that's mainly down to how clean the top half of this dashboard and the door pads look. I also like this dual tone black and light grey combination and how it adds to the overall calmness of this cabin. Now talking about features, what we have here is the top spec signature variant, and as you would expect, the list of features in here, it's just as long as this car. And one of my favorite features in here is the diffuser mode for the AC vents. Now there's a reason why you have these super wide AC vents with holes in them. and that's because in diffuser mode, the system it lets out chilled air in a dispersed manner, kind of like in airplanes, if you will. Other feature highlights include a nice sounding audio system from Bose, electric adjustment for both the driver and the passenger, a wireless charger, ventilated seats, a 360-degree view camera, and what is perhaps the biggest panoramic sunroof that I have seen in a 5-seater SUV. Talking about safety equipment, the Tucson has all the basics covered, and then some more. You get 6 airbags, disc brakes on all 4 corners, hill hold and hill descent assist, front and rear parking sensors, and height adjustable front seat belts. The real highlight though are the level 2 ADAS features that this car gets. So there's forward collision warning and avoidance, lane departure and lane follow assist, rear cross traffic warning and collision avoidance assist, adaptive cruise control, and high beam assist. So the Tucson can also be had in Platinum variant, which is priced lower than the signature trim that we have here. Naturally, it's also down on features. And in terms of missing features, it doesn't get any of the level 2 ADAS capability except for the blind spot monitoring system. And also the passenger side seating, it's manually adjustable, whereas it's electrically adjustable in this signature trim. Now, as far as I can see, the Tucson has pretty much everything, and the only couple of things that I'm missing in here are Type-C USB ports and a cooled glove box. The old Tucson, well, it wasn't all that great for rear seat comfort, but things have changed drastically with this new 4th generation model. Now, I will admit that this rear seat, it's still placed quite low, and because of that, you will have to stretch out completely to be fully comfortable. But other than that, this new Tucson, it's a really nice place to be in. And I can see that Hyundai is targeting chauffeur-driven customers with the new Tucson simply by looking at the number of rear seat focused features that are in here. To start with, this backrest, it's not just generously sized, but as you can see, I can also recline it, and it can be reclined quite a bit so that you get this really comfortable posture, which will be great for those long road trips. Secondly, I can control this front seat all the way from here by simply clicking these controls that have been given on the backrest. Now, this is a neat little feature that I wish more car brands would introduce in their premium models. For this test, we have got the diesel automatic Tucson, which is powered by a 2-liter engine that makes 184 bhp of power and 416 Nm of torque, and it's paired to an 8-speed torque converter automatic. The diesel Tucson also gets all-wheel drive with 3 terrain modes: snow, mud, and sand. Okay, so before I get to the engine and gearbox bit in this 2-liter diesel automatic version that we are driving today, I have to talk about the outward visibility, which is simply superb. I mean, the dashboard, it's set low, and so is this digital instrument cluster. And overall, the view that I'm getting of the road ahead, it's clear and it's wide, and I have no intrusions from the dash whatsoever. The visibility on the sides and at the back is also on point because of the large glass area. So overall, the Tucson feels like a really easy car to drive, even within the confines of city where you might encounter a lot of traffic in your everyday drives. So that's a good thing. Something that contributes heavily to the user-friendly nature of the Tucson is its light steering. It's not all that feelsome as you up the pace, but when it comes to driving in the city, in traffic, the steering, it's very light and precise at the same time, so it makes it very easy to maneuver this car through traffic. Now, the first thing that I noticed as soon as I started the car is that it's definitely less noisy on idle than the Compass diesel or the C5. And as the revs rise once you get going, it remains smooth and there's less of the typical diesel clatter that you get from driving an SUV. In terms of performance, the new Tucson picks up speed in a very linear manner, and that makes it a great city car. Even on the highway, it is deceptively quick, whisking you forward from as low as 1800 RPM, and it's only when you look at the speedo that you realize that you are going faster than you anticipated, although that's also down to how quiet the cabin is at highway speeds. When you round everything up, I think the new Tucson is the real deal. It's quiet, it's comfortable, it's got a ton of space, and best of all, it feels like a high quality product. Now, if you ask me, its biggest advantage against the competition is that it's a much newer car, and it feels so in many ways. As for the prices, the Tucson might seem like an expensive proposition when you look at its entry-level price, but it's a different story for the all-wheel drive diesel automatic version, which comes in at Rs 34.39 lakh. Now, that's 4.5 lakh rupees more than the Compass S with all-wheel drive, but for that, you're getting a car that's bigger in size and has more features. As for the C5 Aircross, which comes close to the Tucson when it comes to size and road presence, it is roughly 50,000 cheaper, but then again, it isn't as well spec'd, and more importantly, it doesn't get all-wheel drive either. But we want to know what you think. Would you choose the radical new Tucson or go for either the Jeep Compass or the Citroen C5 Aircross? Let us know in the comments, and if you are new to CarWale, then please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to get notification for every new video that we upload. Also, check out carwale.com for the written review and on-road prices for the new Tucson.